Do you want to hear something that can change your emotions in like an instant? It is this idea of thoughts. And I invite you to get really curious about the thoughts that you hear going through your head on an everyday basis. Because probably those thoughts, you had them yesterday and probably the day before. I think they say most, like we have 80% of the same thoughts. And often those thoughts can be negative, right? It's our brain's survival mechanism to look out for us, to make sure we're safe, right? And so we have these thoughts that are like, oh no, watch out for this. This is missing. This is what's not enough constantly. Well, I really want to invite you to get curious about the thoughts that we're letting kind of just be under the surface that could be creating a lot of emotion for you and different outcomes that maybe you want to shift. And the idea is here not to change reality. No, we've got reality in front of us, but our thoughts about it and what we're saying about ourselves can shift things in a moment. And sometimes the only shift we need to do is actually seeing what those thoughts are. We can start to see like, oh my gosh, that's a really painful thought that I keep choosing. I wonder if I could let that one go for a moment. I wonder what might happen. So let's say, for example, you have the thought like, this is never going to work for me. Right? The alcohol journey, alcohol is addictive. It's everywhere in our society, and it can be something that we are untangling for a bit. And sometimes we might feel down on it and you're like, this is never going to work for me, right? You think you're just telling us the facts, right? Telling me the facts of what I think, of what I've seen in the past, or what I'm predicting in the future. But that thought, right? When you run it through some questions, like, how does that thought make you feel? Like, this is never going to work for me. Well, it's like, I feel defeated. I feel low. I feel some shame. I feel embarrassment. What is it, right? And see just that sensation that you feel in your body, right? And when you're feeling that feeling of shame, maybe that's kind of what it brings up for me. What actions do you notice that you take? Like, get really curious. Like when we're feeling shame, what do? Right? Often we hide. I'm like, nope, don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it anymore. I continue doing the thing that I actually don't want to do anymore. And I don't really see another way out, right? So it's so interesting how that thought, this isn't going to work for me, I almost make it not work for me because I'm feeling shame. So then I hide from myself. I don't really reach out to anybody. I don't look at other options or ideas because I just shut them all down ahead of time. And so ahead of time, I make it not work for me. So is that the thought that's creating emotion in you that you want as we're thinking about moving forward and what you want to do? It's incredibly powerful to look at those and examine them and see that that's an optional thought, right? It's optional. And so what else is also true here? What else is also true about you, about what we're doing, about this whole other way to explore your relationship with alcohol there that you would like to hold on to as you move forward, right? And so this is really, really powerful. And so I invite you to consider, what are those thoughts? Run it through that filter. How does this make me feel? How does this make me behave? And if it's creating more of what you want, awesome. But if it's not, I'd say it's worth exploring. Doesn't mean you have to change it by a lot, but you could just say, I'm willing to consider, right? That there's a way that I'm going to figure this out. And I'm going to keep trying, or I just haven't figured it out yet. I wonder what it will be, right? Just seeing what that thought feels, right? I haven't figured this out yet. Okay. What emotion does that create for you? Is it curiosity? And from curiosity, what do you notice you do or don't do from that feeling? It's amazing. So I invite you to consider this, just gentle curiosity, even writing down some of those thoughts, getting them out of our head, putting them on paper can create a lot of space to see, is that the thought I want pulling me forward? So let me know if you have any questions on this. Have you done any of this work before? And let me know what you think. So we'll talk to you real soon. you.